Now, let's maybe pivot a bit towards the legal and regulatory side of things. How do global IP laws and regulations really impact inventors and companies working in fermentation? Because I imagine it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all legal landscape out there.
You're absolutely right. It's a complex global tapestry, not uniform at all. When we talk about international patent systems, there are a couple of crucial mechanisms that help. One is the Patent Cooperation Treaty, or PCT. This system allows inventors to file a single international patent application. This application doesn't result in a global patent, but it acts as a placeholder and streamlines the process of seeking patent protection in many different countries later on. It buys you time and simplifies the initial filing.
Okay, sort of a central starting point.
Exactly. Then you have regional systems, like the European Patent Office, the EPO. Filing with the EPO can lead to a single European patent that is then validated in multiple European countries, centralizing the process for protection across much of Europe. However, despite these systems that aim to harmonize things, there are still significant differences in IP laws across major markets. For instance, the US used to have a first-to-invent system, which was quite unique. But now, like the EU, China, and most of the world, it generally follows a first-to-file principle.
First to file.
Yes. This means that, generally speaking, the rights are granted to the first person to submit a valid patent application for an invention, regardless of who actually invented it first. This fundamentally changes filing strategies. Speed becomes critical.
Wow.
Beyond that basic principle, things like enforcement mechanisms, the specific criteria for what's considered patentable, the scope of protection granted, these can all vary quite widely from country to country. This directly impacts how patents need to be filed and how they're ultimately upheld around the world.
That first-to-file principle is fascinating and, well, maybe a bit terrifying. Does it really mean if I invent something truly groundbreaking today, but someone else, maybe working independently, just happens to file a patent application for a similar idea an hour before I do tomorrow? I'm just out of luck, even if my documented invention date was earlier.
Generally speaking, under a strict first-to-file system, yes. The filing date is paramount. It puts immense pressure on inventors and companies. It means that as soon as you have a sufficiently developed and documented invention, the clock is ticking. You need to move towards filing quickly. Delay can indeed mean losing potential rights to a competitor who reaches the patent office first, even by a small margin.
So it really drives the need for speed and R&D and the patenting process itself.
Absolutely. It definitely encourages a fast-paced innovation environment, especially in competitive fields like fermentation technology. You need integrated R&D and IP strategies.
Okay. And bringing it closer to home for you, how does IP protection specifically work in Malaysia? What does an inventor or a company need to know if they're operating there?
Right. In Malaysia, the system for IP protection is quite clear and aligns with international norms. Malaysia operates firmly under a first-to-file system, just like most major economies now. So again, this really emphasizes the importance of prompt filing with our national office, the Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia, which is known as MyIPO. Filing early is key to securing your rights. The patent application process and duration in Malaysia involves submitting your application to MyIPO. It then undergoes both a formal examination checking paperwork and a substantive examination. The substantive examination looks at the core requirements: novelty, inventive step, which is our term for non-obviousness and industrial applicability. Is it new? Is it truly inventive? And can it be used in industry?
Standard checks, then.
Pretty standard international criteria, yes. If all these criteria are met, the patent is granted. The standard term of protection is 20 years, calculated from the date the application was filed. And, similar to other places, you must pay annual maintenance fees to keep the patent in force for that full duration. If you fail to pay those annuities, the patent lapses.
Okay, so the 20-year term and the need for maintenance fees seem pretty consistent globally. Once a patent is granted, that's obviously a huge milestone, but it's not the end of the story, is it? What's involved in actually ensuring compliance, enforcing those rights you've secured? And what happens if someone does infringe on your patent?
Indeed, getting the patent granted is really just the beginning of the active management phase. Constant vigilance is essential. The first step is monitoring for IP infringement. You can't enforce rights you don't know are being violated. So companies need systems to regularly track the market. This might involve conducting market surveys, using specialized IP watch services that monitor new patent filings or product launches globally, and just diligently keeping an eye on competitors' activities and offerings. Early detection is absolutely key to protecting your investment effectively.
So you have to be proactive.
Very proactive. If infringement is detected, The patent holder has several avenues for legal recourse and dispute resolution. Often the first step might be sending a cease and desist letter to the alleged infringer. If that doesn't resolve the issue, then more formal legal actions might be necessary. This could mean filing a lawsuit seeking damages for the harm caused by the infringement or seeking an injunction, a court order to stop the infringing activities immediately. Alternatively, especially to avoid potentially lengthy and costly court battles, methods like mediation or arbitration can be used. These are often more amicable and sometimes faster ways to reach a resolution.
Okay, so options exist beyond just going straight to court.
Yes. And finally, something crucial is keeping abreast of the impact of regulatory changes on IP strategies. IP laws aren't static. Governments update them, court decisions interpret them differently over time. These changes can significantly affect how patents are filed, how they're maintained, and importantly, how they're enforced. So companies really need to stay informed about any regulatory updates in their key markets to adapt their IP strategies accordingly. This ensures ongoing compliance and helps maximize the value and effectiveness of their patent portfolio. It's a continuous process of vigilance, adaptation, and strategic planning.
It really sounds like a dynamic field, not just scientifically, but legally too. It's clear there's a lot to navigate, both on the legal front and the strategic front, even after you have that patent certificate in hand.